Hey, what's up guys? It's 𝗪cie_𝗰𝗶𝗹, and today we're going to talk about how I sold 500K worth of inventory on Amazon in the last 12 months and how you can grow your sales as well. So stick around to the end and I'll be showing some things that will be helpful for you and your store. The first thing to keep in mind with this is that before the last 12 months, so before June, I had been selling books for 9 months before that on Amazon. And from there, I had basically understood how to sell on Amazon, how to list on Amazon, a lot of the little day-to-day things of how to navigate through it, and how Amazon works. That was all learned by doing books. And so I felt pretty comfortable with how to navigate Amazon. And so that was less of an issue going forward from that date. And at that point, I transitioned from Amazon FBA books, where you sell used books on Amazon, to doing a lot more retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage is where you go from store to store in person and you buy the items and you bring them back home to your house and you list them for sale and send them back into Amazon. And one of the perks to doing this over books is that oftentimes some of those items can sell much faster than books do. Books oftentimes only have a 20 to 30% sell-through rate per month. And a lot of these retail arbitrage items will sell within weeks of hitting the warehouse. These items will often sell much faster than books will, so you can turn your money over faster sometimes. The con, though, is that your ROI is going to be smaller a lot of the time. Books, you're sometimes even 10xing your money, but it sells much slower. With retail arbitrage, usually you're not even going to double your money most of the time. And then in August, I transitioned to slowly, I was doing some retail arbitrage and then some online arbitrage, transitioning more to online arbitrage. So the perk to online arbitrage, and what online arbitrage is instead of purchasing from stores in person, you purchase them online. And basically, you don't have to drive from store to store. You just have the stuff delivered and you go from store to store with your mouse. This can be such a more efficient method of buying products if you know what you're doing. And then also the con of this is that the margins are even smaller than retail arbitrage. With online arbitrage, our typical margin is somewhere between 20 and 70%. 70% is pretty high, but the margin just is a little bit smaller with online arbitrage. But you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to drive 15 minutes to Walmart and then wait in line for 10 minutes and then walk to a certain section of the store. So you can really let your money multiply for you in that way. So that's what I started doing in August, and I was getting better and better at that, and more online arbitrage instead of going into stores. By October, November, I was hardly even going out to stores in person. I think I remember in November, I went to an estate sale, and I remember before that point, I hadn't gone to a store in around a month for Amazon sourcing. So it's just crazy because you can do your entire business model from your home and not have to go out to stores if you don't want to. You just have to learn the process of doing online arbitrage, which I will admit is a learning curve, but if you apply yourself to it, you can learn how to do it. And then in December of last year, you'll see that there's a bit more of a spike in my sales. At that point, I made two big changes that worked out for me at the time. Number one, started using a prep center. I was starting to send a lot of my items to a prep center. And so instead of doing online arbitrage and sending the items to my house and having to process all of those myself, I was sending them to a fulfillment center that is a professional at listing items and dealing with the logistics of shipping. So that way I had more time to source. And because I had more time to source, I was able to spend my money faster. And so I ended up doing a 0% APR card. So that was a credit card that I didn't have to pay off for a year if I didn't want to, without interest. So at that point, I knew that my business model was profitable. I had sold a lot of items and I knew that I just needed more money, and then I could multiply my profits because I had the system down. A note about credit: I'm not a financial advisor, but I would strongly suggest getting into credit, using credit slow. I want to make sure that you're completely profitable and not making massive mistakes before you get into using credit. Credit is basically just going to multiply whatever your current results are. So if your current results are losing a little bit of money on a lot of your flips, you're going to end up losing a lot of money on a lot of flips, or a little money on a lot of flips. You want to make sure that you're profitable first. And also it's going to be kind of a comfort curve. It's hard to go from just reinvesting profits and using those profits and being comfortable with that to suddenly using money that you technically don't have. So that is going to be a adjustment comfort curve for you. And you're going to want to do that slowly and safely. So in summary, in June, I started retail arbitrage and I transitioned from slowly selling books to faster moving items. And then I transitioned from just fast moving items that I had to go from store to store for to ordering those items to my house. I got better at that. I found a niche of selling used items that I found I could do well. And then I eventually moved to using mostly a prep center. That way I didn't have to list all my items. I had more time to source more products, and therefore I was able to spend more money on profitable inventory. So if this video was helpful for you, and if you learned something, then feel free to help out my business by subscribing. It really helps me out and helps the algorithm. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram, and hope you have a great day. Take care.